Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you happen to be watching this. Risco and Osaka coming at you with a bit of a reintroduction to our series here, Fever Dreams. A chance to kind of reintroduce ourselves, what we do here, and how things are handled. So, as for myself, I am Risco in Osaka. I'm a trans woman. I've been living here for about 16 years, and I've been looking at community levels for Little Big Planet for quite a while now. A lot of that was in the before, but doing that inspired me to do the Dream series, Fever Dreams, and some of that was in before as well. So if you were wondering why the Fever Dreams series on this channel start from episode, I don't know, 20-ish or something, it's because the earlier ones were in the before. But that is us, and this is Fever Dreams. And what is Fever Dreams exactly? Fever Dreams is a weekly series where we take a look at a level from the community, or a creation from the community, spend about 5 minutes looking at that creation, playing through it, usually because they are most often levels, and then coming back to a hub world to talk about it for sometimes a while. It could be anywhere between 6 and 10 minutes. Usually episodes don't tend to be too much longer than 15 minutes at most, but we have had a couple that have gone over that, and a fair amount that go under that. Now, after we play through the level and we come back to the hub, and I do a rating or a review, a more in-depth look at what we've just looked at. And I've got 4 basic ratings that I go with. We've got green circles, we've got yellow squares, we've got orange diamonds, and we've got red triangles. It's kind of like Lucky Charms, except not exactly. And so, what do these ratings mean, generally speaking, and what can you as a viewer take away from these? One thing I do want to point out is that a lot of this is very subjective. It's a lot of how I feel about the levels. If your tastes align with mine, then perhaps you will have similar feelings to be able to use these ratings in choosing levels for yourself. If they don't, then we may not jibe, and I welcome any feedback in the comment section or in threads that you may find on Sakinema or Dreamsverse or Dreams Bubble. Let me know where you think that I'm going wrong. But generally speaking, for me, the green circle levels are the creme de la creme. They're very solid on experiences, both in gameplay and in presentation. Often they've got a cute or clever gimmick that they are able to expand upon, and that they are able to utilize to set themselves apart from other things. I generally feel that green circle levels have a fairly high amount of replayability, and for me replayability is a really big important factor because my own time is very, very limited. So levels that I will go back to tend to stand out to me quite highly, that I would spend extra time to play these all over again. Now, green circle levels are not flawless. There may be issues, there may be problems with them, but generally speaking, I feel that those issues and problems do not detract from the quality of the experience. Now, one step down, and we've got our yellow square levels. And yellow square levels and green circle levels, there's not usually a whole lot of space between them. Yellow square levels I find also to be generally quite high quality, generally to be an awful lot of fun. They tend to be lacking, I find, in replayability, that their experiences tend to be a little bit more limited, that I feel like I can play them and generally I'm done with them. Flaws may be more apparent, glitches or bugs or a slightly bad design philosophy may be more obvious to the player experiencing these creations, but generally speaking, the yellow square levels as well will be a lot of fun and will be levels that I could recommend wholeheartedly to players to experience. I feel that maybe they just need a little bit more polish to bring them up a bit higher. Now, when we get down into the orange diamonds, and that's where the flaws start to be more obvious. Orange diamond levels tend to be a lot more limited. There usually tends to be a fair amount of communication issue between the creator and the player that may cause an unnecessary or unwarranted deaths. They not always particularly stand out in how they've been presented as visually or as in an audio environment. Oftentimes orange diamond levels have some good point to them, have something that can be commended or can be lauded, but that a lot of what's going on around that good point needs to have a fair amount more polish done to it to bring it up into a full experience. Now, last off, and thankfully the least that we've seen throughout the series so far are the red diamond levels. And red diamond levels, it's kind of a holdover from when I was looking at Little Big Planet levels. There often tend to be a number of problems with red diamond levels. Either there's nothing to the level itself, they're empty boxes, they're very lazy, maybe just random objects thrown together, if even we have random objects thrown together. They may also be levels that are fundamentally broken, that there is no way to progress the level, even though it's clear that the level expects you to progress from that point, which would cause a fair amount of frustration for players. That may be because of breaks in the level, for example, logic that hasn't been fully thought out, something that's not spawning in or something that's missing. Also, I find that red diamond levels can be levels where the difficulty bar is so high set that the average player, and I consider myself average or below average to be honest, but the average player I feel would bounce right off that level and would not be able to find any enjoyment with it, would be overly frustrated with it. We haven't run into too many levels like that in Fever Dreams, although I have certainly seen levels like that in Little Big Planet. Red diamond levels generally tend to be levels that I could not in good conscience recommend for themselves. I could recommend them as a learning experience. I could recommend them as we would with some 80s horror movies as as enjoyable failure, for example, but I couldn't recommend the level as, hey, this is a good level that you really need to play. But as I said, luckily, we really haven't run into all that many red diamond levels on Fever Dreams yet, but as the community expands, who knows, we may see more and more of those. Let's hope that we don't. So that's basically, who we are and what we do. We've got this hub here, this kind of checkerboard hub, and you can see in the background we've got another more idyllic hub. To be honest, I'm looking at upgrading and improving them as I am looking at upgrading and improving my avatar, but I have not had the time that I would like to have in the Dreams Create mode as of yet. And maybe that could be something that we look at in stream, because we do stream Fever Dreams. We stream Dreams on Twitch about once every other Sunday. We alternate those with Little Big Planet 3, but if you see us on Twitch at Risco Waffles, that's Risu5_waffles, by all means join in and point to me the levels that you want me to take a look at and that you find are fairly standout levels, because I'm always looking for new creators. I'm always looking for new levels and new experiences that I can share with all of you. But I think that pretty much does it for us here at Disco About. So from me, Disco, here in Osaka, to all of you out there wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.